Good morning. Today it looks like I'm getting a little bit of cast lighting here. That's a little much, but we will work through this. What you're going to need today is a piece of scratch paper. It could be white or lined so that we don't smear our hands in the work while we work today. And you're going to need a pencil sharpener, and Q-tips if you have them. If not, a napkin or a tissue that you would blow your nose with, or a paper towel, so we could do a little bit of blending. My favorite thing is a Q-tip. If you can get that, they're like $1 for 500 of them at the 99-cent store. So I'll give you guys a second to go ahead and gather some materials. While you're doing that, I will be arranging some other things. So I'll give you a minute. I decided today to record this without you guys live so you could play it at your own pace and we don't have to wait for people because some of us go faster, some of us go slower. So that's what's happening. I'm going to pull up the information for this class. Fourth period. I posted a slideshow about shading and I'm just referencing that. That's why I'm pulling it up. I want to make sure we're doing it exactly like the slideshow. So in my background, I'm doing that. Luckily, I have multiple computer screens, so I'm looking at it and we're working on this together as I draw it live. Okay. So in a perfect world, we would be shading the first square, but on this one, we're not going to. But one thing I would like to just do is add some shadows. If we had a light source, let's say a lamp right here, and it was shining light down, it's a light bulb. It kind of looks like an eye. You would have a shadow ellipse shape right here. Let's go ahead and draw all of this. So that's something I want you to be perfectly clear about. You're going to have a light bulb, and you're going to have shadows that go directly underneath these three spheres. Now, these three spheres, I'm going to darken some things in just a minute, so I want you to be very aware of that. Somebody asked me the other day, do they have to be on top of each other like that? Yes, they have to be on each other like that because the vocabulary word is overlap. We want these to be overlapping each other. That's one object appears to be behind others. Okay, so hopefully you're ready for the next step. I'm going to make this one go in front of this one and this one. So how am I going to do that? Now that I've lightly sketched them, you do light until it's right. Now I'm going to go darker. So I'm going to make this one darker and go on top of the middle one right here. So yes, there's all these scratcherly lines. I want to see all that, but I also want to see this very dark line on top of this one. So I'll give you a second to do that. We want this to look like overlap, so follow along. Now, once you have done that one, then I'm going to start with this one, and this one's going to overlap the one to the right of it. So you can see how this one's kind of invading the space of this one's invading the space of this one. And last but not least, this one right here, you're not going to draw the line through because this one's on top of it. So we're giving the impression of overlap. In a perfect world, we'd be shading all of these. You wouldn't really see all this stuff here. If you want to clean it up a little bit now, you can. But I definitely want it to be obvious that there's a darker line. If you want to clean up that line through them, I think that would be a good idea to show overlap. Okay. I'll give you a couple of seconds to finish that up. Always watch me and then do what I'm doing. That way you do it correctly. At the top, let's label that light, if you have room. Light source. Okay? Light source. Now, on this one, the light source is not directly above like these shadows here. I don't know if you can see this very well. It looks a little blurry. On this one, it's cast more towards the right. The shadow is on the right, which means the light source must be coming from the left. So we're going to draw a triangle with an ellipse and a light bulb here. And then we're going to pretend the light is raying off it from the left side. Should have had my phone muted, sorry. So now you should have that lamp to the left. And this one, we are going to go ahead and start shading. So I'm going to just do the deep dark shadow. I'm going to outline it right here with of my ellipse and do that number 5 or 6 shadow. To get edges, I kind of do circular so that I can really get that curve right. That's deep and dark. And this one is exactly similar to what we've already done in the past, where we are going to start kind of planning out our shading, but I'm not going to draw the circles this time. I'm going to show you exactly what this looks like from the presentation. I want you to see what I'm seeing. So I'm going to do like a screenshot of it. Let's see if I can do that. And I'll put this side by side so you can kind of see what I'm doing, where I'm getting it from. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, there we go. We want it bigger than that. Let me see if I can rearrange this a little bit. There's little nuances to this, so I don't want you to jump ahead too much. I'll point it out right now. It says complete the shading and make sure you make the spheres lighter in the distance with less detail on 5 and 6. So if you look at 5 and 6 right here on the tops, they are much lighter, and right here much lighter. So that's really important when you're doing this. So today we're just breaking this down step by step. I'm going to go ahead and start curving my shadow like a backwards C on this. And I'm making sure I'm not going too dark on the reflective shadow. We labeled all this the other day. You can have it out and look at it while you're doing yours. And then I'm gradually getting lighter, less pressure. and less pressure. We want to see it gradually getting lighter to the spotlight of that light right here that's going down. See the arrows I'm placing here? That's where the light is. So we want it to be faintingly getting lighter in that area. And then the reflective shadow is not white, but it's lighter down here. Ta-da! Okay, I didn't make it segmented. I'm kind of working on the transitions, little circular motions, backwards C motions, using the side of my pencil, just grazing the paper. Sorry, when I talk a lot, my throat goes out on me and I can't control it. It's the dry weather change. So I'm pretty happy with that. And then I'm going to start to move on to these guys down here. What I would like you to do is erase that little line going through this sphere here and here. Oh boy. That means that I have 5 minutes till the other class is over. I'm pre-recording this. So now I'm going to make the shadows deep and dark on these spheres on this little guy after I've erased those two, because that's the easiest no-brainer thing for me to do. I know I'm a lot faster than you all, so I'm not going to do too much in this video, but you can always pause me, fast forward, rewind. I wouldn't fast forward because I'm going fairly fast right now. I'm not waiting for anyone. Okay. A matter of fact, since that's so easy, let's do all the cast shadows of all of the spheres that we see on all the boxes while we're at it. It's the same concept on each one, just to make life easier. I'm using a little bit more of my point because it's so small. Don't forget the itty bitty baby over here. And then I'm going to do that to the other ones in the third row. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this one nice and dark. But things are going to change on this one. This one, fairly dark. And then the one that's really far away, we don't do it dark at all. We do it fairly light. Because it's further away, it's off into the distance. So this one is really dark. This one's a little bit lighter. And then this one's very light shadow. So I really want to emphasize that to you. Because it says when things are further away, they become lighter, less detail. So this one's got to be lighter, less detail. This one here is going to be lighter, less detail, and so is this one. Those two right here. Okay, matter of fact, when I look at the example over here, you can see the top, you don't even see it because it's so faint and less detail. So I'm going to kind of lighten that up right now. And lighten this one up right now so I remember that. Okay. And so what I would like for you to do today is finish shading these guys exactly like you did number 2 here. Okay. So we want to see that full value range. I like to start with the deep dark C shape right here. And I'm going to do that on all of mine at the same time. And I'm using the side of my pencil, backwards C, back and forth, very sketchily. And that kind of hides all the boo-boos of the overlap of the ellipse as well. And then I'm going to go lighter with my pressure and try to get a transition of light, medium, and dark on there on each one. The light source is coming from over here. And the same with this one. Less pressure using the side of your number 2 pencil, not a mechanical pencil. And I'm pretty happy with those, except for I forgot to do this one. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing for this one here. Backwards C shape. And then less pressure. Try to give it a transition of light, medium, and dark. It's not perfect. Do the next one. Your body, your hand is doing something that you've never done before. But try your best. I'm kind of going back and forth in that C motion, making some parts a little bit darker, some parts lighter as best as I can. It's hard when they're tiny. This one a little bit darker. This one's a little darker. All right. Pretty happy with that. If you can get through all 4 of these, I'll be pretty happy. But if you can't, I would say that we got a real problem. And then we'll do the last 2 together tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of this. Hopefully it'll work. Can I get the camera on? No, it's not going to let me. Okay, so I'll take a picture and post this on the agenda. That's pretty easy for one day's work. Wow, I'm being very generous. Have a fantastic day, and this is your proof of practice for today. There I am.